Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I am doing a book haul in honor of Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day is fast approaching, the holiday of love and romance, and I am not a romance reader, but every year for Valentine's Day I go to my library and I find some romance books and I just step outside of my comfort zone and read some books that are maybe books that I don't normally read. Romance. So I have been pleasantly surprised by this challenge in the past, and I want to keep doing this challenge going forward because I never want to be closed off from a genre. I never want to entirely exclude a genre and just write it off without trying things in it occasionally. And I have been pleasantly surprised by books I've read in the romance genre in the past, although generally I do not like them. So I'm going to be discussing today the books that I have checked out and the books I'm going to be reading this Valentine's Day for my romance reading challenge. Do you want to start off with a disclaimer? I am not a romance reader, so my reviews of these books will be a little harsher than maybe people who do enjoy romance will be. I don't mean to offend anyone who does read the romance genre. Just know that my reviews are going to be biased, and I know that going in, but I am trying to just get out of my comfort zone and read books that I don't normally like. So let's talk about the books that I have checked out and maybe some preconceived notions I have about them going in. The first is actually a book that intrigued me enough, despite being a romance book, to be put on my list of books to read, and that is Role Playing by Kathy Yardley. So I have not read anything by Kathy Yardley to my knowledge. I have not usually read books by these authors because they write in genres I don't normally read in. This, my understanding, is there's a woman and then there's a man and they play in the same guilds in an online game, and I guess they meet at some point, and I assume there's some romance that ensues because they're snuggling on the couch together. This one did intrigue me, and I felt like it might be interesting. It's going to be interesting enough to get on my to-read list to try, and when I saw it in the library, I thought this could also double as something in my romance reading challenge, and hopefully this is a good one. Out of the 3 books I got, this is the one that for me holds the most potential, so this one might actually get a good review. But I have to read it first. It may be a horrible book to my personal taste and my personal opinions, but I'm excited to read Role Playing and review it. So this is the one that I probably have the most hope about and the most faith in going into this romance reading challenge. So that one was close enough to my comfort zone where I felt like I'm not going too far out of it to read that one. Role Playing, that is. The next 2 that I'm going to discuss and that I'm reading for this romance reading challenge are definitely outside of my comfort zone. The first one is by Laura Leigh and Jackie Burton. This is actually 2 novellas in one, so I figured that would be good. This is called Naughty and Wild, but naughty is N-A-U-T-I. And that is what the cover is. We have this man on a motorcycle who has lots of muscles and some shades. And it's, again, as advertised, 2 novellas, I believe one by Laura Leigh and one by Jackie Burton. And it's in, I don't know. The back says, boys so bad it takes a special kind of women to satisfy them. This is so far outside my comfort zone, I feel weird even walking out of the library with this. I do not like bad boys. I am not intrigued by them. I am not attracted to them. I want a man who pays his taxes and remembers to pick up kids from preschool on time. I don't want a man who's fighting a felony case in the court system and riding around on motorcycles at high speeds on the weekend for fun. That's not interesting to me. That's not intriguing to me. But the point of this challenge is to get outside my comfort zone. So when I saw this, I pulled it off the shelf and I was like, absolutely not. And I put it back on. And then I thought, wait, that's the point of this reading challenge, to go outside my comfort zone. So maybe this needs to go home with me. And because it's novellas, each story isn't going to be too long. So the first one is 145 pages, and the second one runs from 145 to 300 something pages. So not too bad, and I'm getting 2 stories for the price of 1. I have been finding myself enjoying sci-fi novellas, which I've never really read novellas until I was doing my Hugo Award reading challenge, and I started reading sci-fi novellas, and I love them. So maybe I will like the faster pace of the romance in this. I am going to try to find something positive about every romance book that I read, just to try to force myself to think about the book as I'm reading them instead of mindlessly flipping through them to get the book done for this challenge. But this one is way outside my comfort zone. I don't think it's the kind of men I'm interested in, and I don't think I'm going to enjoy this. But I could be wrong, and I'm going to try to go in with an open mind about Naughty and Wild, which is a collection of 2 novellas by Laura Leigh and Jackie Burton. That one I have less hope versus Role Play. Finally, we have a book that I would probably classify as depressed suburban mom fiction. That's what I call it. We have When I Found You by Brenda Novak. I don't know where I got this term depressed suburban mom fiction, but I've definitely been calling certain books that for a long time, and I feel like this is the kind of book, and there's just a vibe that I get about them where I'm like, I know what type of person reads this, but we're reading outside my comfort zone, and this one was labeled as romance. This is also a Silver Springs novel, which I didn't know if I needed to read these books in order. Normally with like romances as well as other genres or other groups of books like cozy mysteries don't necessarily need to be read in order to understand because the story contained in the book is rather self-contained. So I'm hoping that this is more like that and I don't need to have read the other Silver Springs novel. I did pull some of the other Silver Spring novels off the shelf that were sitting next to this at the library, and I gave them a look, and they seem to be totally different stories, so I think I'm going to be safe. This is another thing, from the cover you can't tell what's going on. I feel like I already know something about this book because we had this man on the motorcycle, and I definitely know what's going on here. I do have to say, more recent romance books that have been published have really stepped up the cover game. Like the covers look really good. That is something I do have to say about the romance genre. I do like the new covers that have been coming out on some of the more pop romancy books. And I know what's going on here, but this, it just looks like maybe someone drowned. Like I don't know what's going on here. I have no clue what's supposed to be going on in this book. I read the first section and it says, after everything she worked for is destroyed, pediatrician Natasha Gray is determined to build a new life. Divorced, bankrupt, and suddenly a single mom, she's ready to start over in Silver Springs on her own. She certainly doesn't need help from Mac Amos, the man who's already broken her heart twice. Like, girl, if he's broken your heart twice, find someone else. But I'm already prejudging this, and I'm going to read something in a book that I would never read besides this challenge, and who knows, I could be pleasantly surprised, and Brenda Novak could be my favorite author for 2024. We're not sure. So technically 3 books, but 4 stories because Naughty and Wild has 2 novellas in it, but these are what I'm reading for Valentine's Day 2024. Of course, if you have suggestions or you would like to suggest a romance book for me to read, please let me know and I will try to get to it and review it. I do review your guys' suggestions to me, so please leave that in the comment section below. Otherwise, look for my review on these books around Valentine's Day, and we will discuss my thoughts and feelings on these and maybe come out with some pleasant surprises from this selection of books that are way outside my comfort zone. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have